From Connecticut Public, this is the Wheelhouse. I'm Frankie Graziano, the host of the show that brings the politics to the people. In this bonus edition of the Wheelhouse, the people came to us. Earlier in January, we taped an episode with a live studio audience in Hartford in the lead up to President Donald Trump's inauguration. We actually aired a shortened version of the event on Connecticut Public, but we wanted to share the extended interviews with a couple of our surprise guests as a podcast exclusive. In addition to our special guests, on that night we had a powerhouse panel of experts, plus Wheelhouse swag for members of the audience. If you were lucky, you caught one of the Ollie plushes that guests tossed through the air. Ollie the octopus is, of course, the Wheelhouse mascot. Man, what a night that was. Now for those surprise guests. Connecticut's teachers, especially civics teachers, hold a special place in our hearts. And Ollie's 3 hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, 2025's Teacher of the Year, Julia Miller. Thank you so much for coming on, Julia. Oh my God, so great to have you on. You grew up in the Elm City. I know you care about it very much, and were a student in New Haven Public Schools, some years away, notably in Brooklyn, New York. But you decided to return to your hometown. What was it about New Haven that brought you back?
First, I had a daughter in Brooklyn, and that's an expensive place to raise a kid. So that's first what got us thinking. But really, when we decided, we want to live in a smaller city, New Haven just spoke to me because it is what made me who I am. New Haven is deep in my roots. I am a product of its public schools. And I loved the school that I taught in Brooklyn so much that I felt like if I'm going to leave this beloved place, the place I'm going to go is back to my hometown and give back to my community and be immersed in that community, raise my own children in the public school system. And so, New Haven has everything. It has incredible arts and activism and pizza and all the things. Yes. So it was a no-brainer to come back.
At the Wheelhouse, we look at the teachers, particularly the civics teachers, to look at the future and how we're teaching kids to talk about politics and learn about participating in their civic duty. So tell me about some of your students and who they are.
Oh, yeah. We have incredible students who are really active. I've been a part of student leadership, advisor to student council. This year, we have a whole new student leadership organization and group. These are young people who are committed to making change. I am really lucky to teach a restorative justice class. And so these are young people who are really, I think, transforming concepts of what justice means and wanting to repair harm and heal and find new ways forward. These are young people who care about climate change, who care about their communities. So, the future is bright. We need to pour resources into our schools so that our young people have what they need, because then they are ready to come and change this world. At every level, you can make a change. I absolutely encourage them to, as soon as they turn 18, to register to vote, right? And we talk a lot about that importance. But that if there's an issue you care about, let your representatives know. I make sure they know who their alders are, right? So, and get involved locally, hyper locally at the school, that they can make change about issues that they care about and get involved in that way. And so I think there are so many different ways that young people can be involved. There's so many nonprofits in our area. There's so much need, and so students can be involved in that. So another passion of mine, I'm so honored to be part of this work, is helping to launch in New Haven. And, I'm really excited with this platform of Teacher of the Year to help grow this across the state, grow your own program. So, we can solve our teacher shortage crisis by growing our own, and then students have representation in the classroom. We've started a new education pathway at my school. I'm teaching the inaugural class in it. It's concurrently enrolled with Southern Connecticut State University. So the idea is that students can get both high school and college credit, get prerequisites done in high school for free, and then enter our teacher prep programs and be that much a step closer and come back to our schools to teach. So I think it's a really exciting model. Just last month, for the first time, I had my 10th graders. Yeah. We went to a local K-8 just around the corner, and they were able to be in the classrooms. And, that's where really I saw the spark. I think there's a narrative of teaching, teachers, it's so hard. And, and it is hard, right? Like we work incredibly hard, but it's also so joyful. Like I don't think there's a career that has as much magic as teaching. So I'm excited to hopefully inspire next generation.
Joyful is a good word. I like that word. What about hopeful? Give me some hopes that you have for 2025.
I hope we have fully funded schools, public schools. And I hope that our young people in our public schools, no matter their identity, their immigration status, that they are protected and cared for and have opportunities. So that is what I hope for 2025.
Julia Miller is a civics teacher at Metropolitan Business Academy in New Haven. She's Connecticut's 2025 Teacher of the Year and one of several surprise guests at the Wheelhouse Live. We had a lot of fun with our final surprise guest of the evening. We brought in someone that you can't drive through Connecticut without seeing. Listen to what happened when our audience met the billboard queen, someone that knows a lot about the law, personal injury attorney Brooke Goff. Hello! Man, you look way better than I do. I love your suit. You look terrific. Tell me about the work that you do here in Connecticut and whether or not something that we were talking about with Susan Beisowitz earlier inspires you about representation. Is that something that you very much care about?
I was a little offended. Susan didn't say. I heard that she had said who should be the next female. I was a little upset my name wasn't said. As far as representation goes, I think it's just important people get more involved. I think all that comes back to education. We live in a really educated state full of people that are desperate for knowledge. I hope that as many women, if not more, show up for the next election, and we're having maybe another conversation up here about who's in. So
I understand you're doing some work to make sure that there could be some more LGBTQ plus lawmakers here in Connecticut.
I think it's super important. We have to start seeing people as people. We have to stop labeling all of us, right? Like, it's sad that in 2024, I'm 38. People always ask, okay, I'm 38. And I'm still
very young 38.
Yeah, I'm very young 38. I'm still having in some situations to identify myself as LGBTQ, et cetera, et cetera. Like, we're all just people. Bringing more attention to the fact that people are normal. What people know about normal is not just man, woman, 2 kids, picket fence. Like, we all have our own version of normal. And I think that people just trying to put labels on everybody, in some ways, it's so discouraging for members of a society that could really come out of their shell and make such a big difference in the community. So what I try to do is bring LGBTQ members out and say, listen, you can have it all. I have it all. I have a wife. I have children. I have a home. I have a very successful business. You can have it all. But they need to see more people like me. And they need to see more people that are successful and that are proud of who they are, regardless of judgment.
Is this a fund people can contribute to? How can people learn more about it?
I'm a graduate of Quinnipiac University School of Law. And thank you. Yeah, go QU. Go Bobcats. And
My wife went there.
Yeah, so I respected the school, and I think it was by mistake, but I'm all over billboards, and they never reached out to me and asked me for $1. And I'm like scratching my head. My wife went to Sacred Heart, and she's getting letters every year. And I'm like, what is is it bad money? They don't want my money? So I call them, I go down, and just so happened, it was kind of kismet that the new courtroom was not yet named, because nobody that was, by the way my senior had thought, hey, maybe I should give back to the institution that gave me everything I have. So I go in, and they are like, hey, the courtroom's available, but we'll skip over that. And I'm like, no, let's sit down and talk about it. I mean, imagine a female LGBTQ. My name's all over that courtroom. So everybody that goes in there is going to know you should be ashamed if you don't give $1 back to your institution that made you who you are. However, those LGBTQ people that are sitting there saying, can I do it? Well, the whole entire courtroom in a law school that is dominating right now, it has my name on it. So to me, we gave $500,000 to the school as a grant, and it's going to fund 2 scholarships a year for incoming law students, and they're good scholarships. It includes me taking them, buying their books, kind of bringing them around the school, meeting with them. And yes, we absolutely encourage women and LGBTQ to apply. I'm not saying special consideration is given. However, the scholarship is heavily weighted for those parties because they're underserved when it comes to grants and scholarships.
You are, in fact, on every single billboard.
I mean, not every one. Not every single one, but quite a few.
We've seen Mike Tyson. We've seen cousin Jared Goff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are related, but yeah, Jared Goff.
Yeah, Jared is a really nice guy, and his wife, is actually really involved in Girls Inc., which is a huge organization that gives back to young girls, empowers young females. It was an awesome match, and we went there knowing we were not related, and we left figuring out that we actually have family in this tiny little town in upstate New York. So we left as distant cousins, but more importantly, we left as friends. And my agent still stays in touch, and if they go to the Super Bowl, I'll be there. So I'll be cheering them on.
Did you meet Mike Tyson?
You know, everybody asks. If I have a requirement in my world, you have to meet the talent. They're not AI. Reddit seems to think all these tech people who, by the way, need to question where they went. They're not AI.
It's not a deep fake?
Nope. I'll tell you, these people, guys, are so at a different level that they're not selling their face. So we met each other. Mike Tyson, I did get some pushback from. We all know Mike has a bit of a history. And I had a conversation with him a little bit, and we talked about it. And, you know, I think that we can't all just be judged always by our actions. It's also how we come back from those actions. People can't be incarcerated forever. We have a legal system for a reason. And, you know, we found after we discussed and everything, it was a good fit for both of us. And I stand behind that campaign. It's one of the most successful campaigns we did. And he let me pretend to knock him out. So that was pretty fun. Yeah. I mean, what kind of a guy, like, especially him, he knew the billboard said, like, we fight like girls and we win, or like, you know, we knock out the competition. He knew I was going like that. And he's like, hit me. Okay. So, I mean, and trust me, if I hit him, I probably would have broke my head. The guy is solid, by the way. Solid. So. Maybe
it's a surprise, but is anybody else going to pop up on one of these billboards? That you could
other than me?
Other than you? You'll be on there with them.
So I can tell you, so we have new billboards going up. Listen, last year we did a lot of campaigns. I get it with men's basketball UConn. We have some members of the UConn women's basketball team that's coming on soon.
Oh.
So that's a fun one, and it was so fun. And we have a really great inspirational commercial that's coming out with that. That's right after the Super Bowl. And we have I think our campaigns this year make last year's look small, but you guys be the judge. I can't disclose. Our big thing is the seasons in Connecticut are based on when Goff Law Group changes their billboard. So I can't tell you. But you have a lot to look forward to because there's 44 of them. So
you dominated the billboard landscape, and you're overpowering our powerhouse panel here today. With thank you so much. I appreciate it, Brooke. Thank you so much for coming to the Wheelhouse Live. Brooke Goff. What a night of surprises at the Wheelhouse Live. A special thank you to personal injury attorney Brooke Goff and 2025 Teacher of the Year Julia Miller for joining us at the Wheelhouse Live. A shout out to our other surprise guest on the show, Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysowitz. You can see photos of the event and listen to the entire episode, including my conversation with the Lieutenant Governor, at ctpublic.org/thewheelhouse. You can also find it wherever you get your podcasts. Much love to our listeners who bought tickets and made the Wheelhouse Live a sold-out event 2 years in a row. And don't forget, you can tune into the Wheelhouse Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on Connecticut Public Radio.